TwoEDC once again. Pretty sort of legendary one. I already showed you the bigger version I have of it. And this is this small version, the Poe. The tungsten Poe is named after the Legend of Zelda ghost. I don't know if you know that. When I first heard that there was a Poe, I kind of thought to myself, is that the Legend of Zelda ghost that you put in jars? You know, like in Ocarina of Time or something like that? And then once I got to know Samuel Rosko more, the designer, and talked to him more about it, he was like, yeah, no, big Zelda fan. So that's also why we have the triangle. It's the Triforce. It's literally a triangle of the Triforce. So that's the inspiration for that one as well. The big Poe is actually one of the ghosts in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. He's told me that if he wanted to make an even bigger Poe, he'd probably save that and call that the Grand Poe, which is like the biggest Poe ghost you can collect in Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, that's where Poe comes from. The Poe is a redesign of the Binary Fusion by Graveraven is what this looks like and is modeled off of. I don't know if anyone remembers that one. It's like so old. I don't even have it because it's hard to get. It was a really, really good spinner and a really great design. And everyone really loved it. But it had like this bearing that you couldn't get a hold of as easily as an R188, which is what we all use. So Samuel Rosko got permission from Graveraven, got their blessing to make another one that looked very similar that used an R188 bearing because he loved the spinner. So many other people loved the spinner. And he thought, I've got an idea. Why don't I make this thing? I'll call it the Poe. And here we are. Now we have the Poe. Everyone loves it because it's an R188 bearing. And yeah, it rips. I'm going to say that over the OG Nest, I'd say I like this one a bit better. I think this one's a bit heavier. It's a bit thicker. Yeah, bit heavier because the Nest was barely 135. So it's only about 10 grams. So this thing just flings. I don't know what it is about putting a Golden Eagle bearing in there, but I find that for some reason with this design, I put any other kind of bearing in there and it becomes like way louder, like almost obnoxiously loud. It's interesting. I don't know if I'm putting weird bearings in there. I kept trying different ones. And for some reason just landed on the Golden Eagle being one of the best ones. That's what I'm putting in there. This is what it sounds like. And it's small. It's small. It's not really that long. Calipers. Graveraven is a cool name, but remember, that's just the name of the company. I think it would have been a better name for a spinner. And I think that's why everyone ends up calling the Binary Fusion the Graveraven, because deep down, everyone just kind of thinks that Graveraven is a cooler name than Binary Fusion. Binary Fusion is pretty cool too. But I think there's something about Graveraven that just kind of rolls off the tongue. So I think that's why everyone kind of just calls it that. So yeah, this, I have to move this as well because it is one of those ones where I pick it up and I like it in the right mood, but it's kind of like when you end up having enough stuff that you really, really love, it becomes harder and harder to really like play with everything. And I know there's people out here who have tons and tons of stuff. And I have a buddy in the group named Jeremy Campbell. And his philosophy is that I don't care if I have drawers and drawers full of shit that I hardly ever use. And I don't care if I have something that's like just sits there because who cares if one time I like pick it up, once a month and I go like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And on one side of it, I really agree with that sense. But then the other side of it, I go, this stuff's expensive. And I have this whole other philosophy that I've talked about before called the Pelican Case Law, which is I have a Pelican case just like my buddy Gavin Sexton, the Pelican Case 1170. It's a really good size. You can fit a good, decent probably, depending on how you match the space around, a good like 30 to 35 fidgets in there. And that's kind of a really great number, I think. It's like, we've talked about it before, and we've gone like, if you are collecting things and you wanted to like really love every single one of them, it's really hard to get it up to that actual number and be like, yeah, every single one of these 30 plus fidgets in here is just banging to me, and I love it. So I have these two sort of philosophies that I fight with. And right now I'm more on the Pelican case law that you don't really need to have more fidgets than can fit in your Pelican case. And if I do, which I do right now, then I should probably start making some different decisions and thinking about what I really, really, really do love. And even though I love the Poe and I love 2EDC, I'm going to move this and see if I regret it.